we're going to go live.
I'm not ready yet.
You not ready yet?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. We're going to go live. So how you doing, guys?
I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready yet? Not ready yet? Not ready?
No, I'm just kidding.
Doing good, man. Good to be back. Feeling it.
All right, excellent. So no sound. No, we've got sound. So we got some folks in the chat there. So, man, it looks like I got serious red face again. Like I have sunburn or something. Maybe it's because the room is painted red and all the lighting is bouncing off all over the place here. So good.
No judgment, Paul.
Thank you. I know
looking good, man.
I know I'm gonna have to go see the dermatologist after this. So welcome, guys, back to with chat. And I know we were just talking there since June, and welcome you guys to the Drums and Rums podcast and show and so forth. And first, let me introduce our guests to the show here. First, we've got Tim Jack, the producer of the film Enormous, The GORGE Story, and Nic Davis, director of the film. So, welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good to be
it's
here,
great.
Paul.
Great to be back on here.
Yeah.
And Nick came prepared with rum last time. He had taken all this time to make a beautiful home cocktail. I was scrambling to get on here from a phone call. I did manage to get a cold beer.
Oh, nice.
So I don't have any rum here, which is something that maybe I could look into fixing soon.
No, maybe we've got to maybe try to send some your way, maybe.
Oh, wow. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know very much about rum at all, so whatever you think, whatever you recommend.
All right. Yeah. This is one that I've recently have acquired. This is from a South Florida company, and this is called Bombardo Rum. And they I don't know if you can see there.
That's a cool bottle, yeah.
Yeah, it's shaped like a cannon. Let's see, back it up here, right? So it's shaped like a cannon, and that's kind of part of their whole story, their whole thing. It's really good rum, and then they've got a pretty cool one here too. So maybe we can see if we can get Captain James to send you guys some rum. So this is something that you can kind of buy separately to kind of put on your bar there to looks like it's got a cannon. Yeah.
I don't know who
awesome.
Captain James is, but I definitely want some rum from whoever Captain James. That's for sure.
Maybe
anyone named Captain, I feel like automatically your taste in rum is accelerated.
Well, maybe I gotta connect you guys because there's he's doing a lot of filming of promotional stuff down in the Keys, so maybe he should hire you guys to come and hang out in the Keys for a few weeks to film some promotional stuff for the company.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm in.
So, like we said there, it's been a few months now since we last spoke, and so that was June. The film was just getting ready to be released nationwide in theaters. So let's talk about how was that experience there, kind of getting the film out there and seeing people go to the theaters and then nationwide.
I mean, it was great. I'm curious to hear what Tim's thoughts here. For me, it was interesting because it's like we were sort of going through this whole process a year ago in March and April of 2020. So there was a part of me that was, I think that was really excited, but there was also a part of me that's like, who will this even happen? And so it was just cool to see, to sort of have that a little bit of in the back of my mind and to finally see it go off and go so well. And I actually saw it in my hometown movie theater where I grew up in Montana with my family and friends and just sort of a special experience to be able to have my first feature film, like be able to see it in theaters in my hometown, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a special night for sure.
What about you, Tim?
I remember the date sneaking up relatively fast, and we were texting about should we have, some sort of a gathering of, cast and crew, friends and people that had helped us out in the two locations where we were at. And I remember it was so busy and so overwhelming. I was like, I don't even think we can do this. So we did have like a couple people over before the film and afterwards, but we did not get to organize like any proper event. It was just a big rush to get to it, which is pretty ironic considering how long it took to make the film and how much time from maybe an outsider's perspective you would say we had to get everything together. But yeah, it was just a big chaotic time. It was really exciting and fun. And there were just a million moving parts, especially in the days and weeks leading up to that. But when it finally happened, it was really cool. I mean, you know exactly what you're in for. You're going to go to the theater and see the movie with a bunch of people who are excited about it. But until you went and sat down in the seat and saw it come on and those graphics that open up with the company logos and you see that up there on the screen, you don't really fully get it. It was a really great experience.
Sorry, that's I guess that's to be able to see that labor of love and then with other people in that and are close, as you said, your friends, family. It's different meaning than maybe seeing it in the film room with the editors or other folks and so forth. I just happened to be watching the Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, and again, I don't know how true the portrayal was, but there was a point when somebody asked about his films as Howard Hughes, and he says, "I don't watch any of my movies." Because I guess he's, whether he didn't want to or whatever, but I'm sure that's it's definitely a special feeling again to share it. Like I said, you're in good mixed company with people that are close to you and family and friends and supporting you and so forth, and that's very cool. So
people always want to watch. They're always like, "Hey, we should watch Enormous together." I'm like, I've seen it. I've seen it a few. I mean, I'm down. I'm usually down to watch it again, but I've seen it probably more than any other movie I've ever seen in my life.
So now that was June, and how many theaters nationwide do you recall?
It was a little over 200. So we did 200 theaters. It was playing every major market. So played in from New York to LA, San Francisco, Chicago, all over the US and also in Canada.
Cool. And now that takes us through here to most recently, and it seemed like it was a real, obviously good turnout. So is that something that here in October with the release of the streaming that kind of was, it had done so well, or was that something was planned for October?
We had been talking with, so we had basically two distributors who we were working with, Trafalgar, who did all the theatrical, and they were incredible to work with. Looking back on, I mean, they hung with us through so much throughout all of COVID and just trying to figure out a time to get the film to theaters and to make it work. And they really put so much work and effort behind the marketing of it and just getting it out and the publicity, and it was really cool to see all the work they put in.
They were
they
awesome.
Really did. Yeah. Shout out
Trafalgar.
And then our current distributor is Greenwich and Greenwich Entertainment, and then so they're doing everything for the basically like the continued life cycle of the film. So that's that October 1st digital release, all the stuff you've seen on Amazon and Spectrum and basically all the rental platforms, and then everything down the line. And so we don't have any, we're not exactly sure what's going to be coming up next, but it could include like broadcasting on television. It could be streaming. I don't know, whatever other, events and stuff that they want to program it out in the future too. So yeah, we'll see.
Very cool. And so I haven't seen it yet streaming since October. So, but again, I know if it's, I don't know how somebody who wants to see it, the opportunity now because of the availability of so many locations and platforms that they can hit it on. And now that most people have Apple TVs, or so Apple TV, YouTube, here we're on YouTube. Direct TV I saw, and I've got Direct TV. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. It's so easy now with streaming too, and with that distribution, and that's something obviously seems to be very important or crucial for filmmakers, even though the internet has made things a little bit more easier to get out there. But that distribution part is as you mentioned, the shout outs there is an important aspect of film, getting the film, anybody's getting the film out to a larger audience, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's the key factor once you're done with it. I mean, I remember going to a film festival early on when I was, I think, in my early 20s, and just sort of learning about the space. And one of the first things that really stood out to me that I remember hearing was this idea that once you make this sort of fallacy that once you finish the film, finish making the film, it's done. And I think more than ever, it's like once you finish the film, it's just the next phase has begun, which is getting the film out there. And I mean, it's so much work. Like, as anyone who's been following Enormous has seen over the last 3 years, where the film's been pretty much done, but we've just been working through trying to get it out. And then it's an independent film. So it's just Tim and myself and like a handful of people trying to, put together a plan and meet the right people and just get it out to the world. So, yeah, it's definitely been an insane amount of work over the last few years.
It's kind of a little bit of learned from folks here in the rum industry that are craft distillers trying to break into it, and without distribution, I know it's two totally different things. Films and rums and spirits are
might not be that different, honestly. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know enough about the rum industry to say that intelligently, but I bet it's pretty hard to do. I bet it's similar.
So
we have a lot to learn from Captain James. So we'll see if we can, see what we can find out.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent. And we love the Keys. We've been down there before, traveling to shoot something together, and had a great time.
Okay. So yeah, he's very interesting. His story is he shared with me on the podcast, and actually his the video that the video of the podcast. The podcast is available, and then there's also the video of the podcast here on YouTube. And he shared this one story that they were filming some promotional stuff. They just kind of, hey, let's just grab some gear. Let's just go to the beach and throw some barrels out in the water and do this. Very guerrilla style kind of approach. And it looked like people were coming, ahead. We got a lot of folks that are trying to flee other countries here, and they come to end up in the Keys somewhere. And I thought somebody thought there was some sort of something going on.
Oh, just like some sort of immigration.
Yeah, they saw barrels, they saw boats. They didn't know if there was some smuggling thing going on, and Air Force jets got scrambled out of Key West or Homestead. And they were flying around, and they realized, oh, okay, there's just a bunch of idiots, kind of just, it wasn't what they thought it was. So it was a crazy story of where Air Force jets got sent out to interrupt their filming of promotional material for Bombard or rum. So, yeah, there's some. I'm sure you guys will definitely hit it right off there. So I thought that's where Tim. That's where I thought you were going. You didn't have an answer to that question about the distributorship because of there was more of a tie that you probably needed some rum to be able to give that answer.
I think you're absolutely right, especially on this particular day.
Exactly. So
it's been a long one.
It's been a long one. All right, so we should take it easy here. So what are some of the next steps? And you said that you're hoping to get out there further too on TV, broadcast TV, more streaming or whatnot. So is there anything kind of lined up in the works?
Well, I think right now it's in a place to where I think there's probably, to tap into some people's frustration. There was, especially the people who've been following the film for a long time, the question for so long was when can we see it, and specifically when can we see it online? Because COVID and all these other issues, it's the theatrical event being such a short window, and not everybody was available, of course, and so many other things. It wasn't available in every city. So the number of people asking when can I watch this online was really a tremendous amount of people, but over quite a long time. And so now our job right now has been to say, well, now you can. So getting it out to all the people who spreading the word to all the people who were waiting for this digital release to happen in the first place. Trying to notify all of our fans. We've been sending out emails, posting on social media, just making sure that the people who are following the project are able to go and they can either rent it or buy it as a digital copy right now. And I think there's also a pre-order for DVDs that's available on Amazon as well. So we've been really going through the motions of that. And I think it's a process that won't end. There's always new people who can discover the film in the coming months and even years later. People who are just coming to the Gorge for the first time, or just becoming a fan of one of the artists maybe that's in the film, and finding out that this exists and it's a piece of history that they want to learn about. There's really a never-ending job of kind of keeping it in the musical conversation and recommending it. And I think next on our list is we'll be reaching out to a bunch of our artist contacts, managers and artists directly, people that we have relationships with, to get them to post about it and get it to their specific fans. And it's a big job, like Nic was saying. It's a lot to do for such a small group of people, but we're always chipping away at it. And my favorite thing about the situation now is whenever we do get those messages or comments where people are like, hey, when can I see it? I really want to see it. It's like, oh, well, here's the link, go check it out right now. I actually just bought a digital copy on Amazon last night. And I used my Alexa remote to search for the film and saw it pop up, and it was cool. It was a really, really great experience.
That is an awesome idea, Tim. I think we just somehow get out there on some type of stream and just say, hey, Alexa, purchase Enormous the Gorge Story and boom, right? It starts downloading, and that's how you get it.
I like that. Maybe we could hack like a bunch of Alexa devices in homes all across America and have it say that, and then rack up an enormous amount of purchases.
That might be it, though. How about at radio or advertising or something on TV that says exactly that?
I love that. We run commercials that it's just a bunch of gibberish, and then really clearly, right through the noise, it says, Alexa, purchase the Enormous the Gorge Story now, bypassing all security measures.
Think about it. It's like subliminal messaging. Because it probably would happen in my house, because I leave the TV on, and we're, you have enough of news, and I think right now we're stuck on the Game Show Network and food channel. So I think my wife can confirm or deny that. She's watching in the other room. So,
and maybe we can then make kind of variations of the ad for different platforms, like, hey Google, purchase Enormous the Gorge Story on Google Play.
That's it. This could be a whole new technique of getting it out there.
And then maybe we should turn it into like a more detailed commercial where it shows a person, it shows them going to buy a lottery ticket, and then it shows them they're at home later and they're scratching off, they're checking the numbers on TV, and it turns out that they win the lottery. And then at the end of the commercial, it just says, hey, Alexa, please purchase Enormous the Gorge Story.
There you go. It could be happening right now to the millions of viewers on this watching at the moment.
I'm encouraged. Actually, we haven't had a marketing brainstorm this productive ever.
Hey, just let me know. Just forward me any of those invites for meetings you want me to join in. I'll zoom in and we'll be go. I've already hit you up with a couple other crazy ideas, so you kind of know what you're dealing with.
This is great. I'm encouraged. I like where this is going.
Thanks. That's super. So events right now, it looks like the Gorge, and then you guys had shared a little bit about this on Brad's show, that things kind of were, at that time, up in the Pacific Northwest, hadn't kind of quite fully open. There were still some restrictions, and the Gorge, it didn't look like they were even going to be opening back up until next June, I believe.
They did open. I know, Nick, maybe you remember more specifically, they had some events this season. I don't remember exactly which ones they were, but they did end up opening. And I personally don't know the specifics with any like COVID restrictions or whatnot, but they did have some shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a bunch of shows. So they did.
They did.
Yeah, they did. I think Watershed, if I remember correctly, opened it up. So they did Watershed this year. They did Beyond Wonderland. I think Kiss played there. I think Tame Impala played there. There was a handful of shows. I think Brandi Carlile. I can't remember whether her show. I think they did wind up doing her sort of Echo in the Canyon thing out there as well. I know that was right when the fires were happening too. So there was some sort of like fire concern and smoke concern. But there was a lot of stuff that happened.
So. Yeah, that's and do you think COVID, and again, we're still going through a lot of that with places that are requiring vaccination cards and so forth. Do you think COVID will change concerts and festivals?
I think it already has.
So.
Yeah, do you mean like in the future, or what do you mean? Like it obviously has dramatically changed them as they are now.
I guess, do you think people will think different about going to large? Well, I mean, I guess you watch college football, and a lot of folks have kind of don't worry about it anymore. But so I guess that's kind of a moot point, though. But since concerts are, like here in Florida, concerts definitely are back. But some of these venues here, like our amphitheater that we've talked about, they are requiring, obviously, a vaccination cards, verification, or some type of test within a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's what it seems like it's been to the places I'm familiar with as well.
Right. Yeah. I'm okay. I have no concerns about sharing my status. But yeah, I've been vaccinated, so to me. But I get it. But again, I think until we go through where is some of those other quote unquote end of all this, but yeah. So it's all right. I don't want to get too much on the downer note there. So
it's all good. I mean, Tim and I both just went to this festival, actually, Ohana Festival, which is Eddie Vedder's festival. Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, his festival in Dana Point, California, and it was super cool. I mean, very well run. You had to either be vaccinated or have a COVID test to get in. It was all outdoors. So I felt super safe the whole time. I'm fully vaccinated, but I mean, I also still felt really good with everyone that was there. And just it was awesome to get back. I know it was a lot of artists' first time like playing back at a festival again there too.
Oh, we heard that over
cool.
and over. Like everybody that went on stage was saying, this is the first show I've played in a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, one after the other, it seemed like.
Could you tell there was something definitely different about the performers that were for the first time performing in front of a large audience?
You could tell that a lot of people were really grateful. Like I wouldn't say I felt like there was a crazy amount of like excitement as much as it was like, hey, it's really nice to just be up here again.
Right.
So yeah, you could feel that.
Cool. All right, so I know you've got to run, Nick, so I'm going to try to get a few more things in here. So
let's do a lightning round. Let's do it.
Go. All right, so from this film, what's something in particular you guys have learned from this film that you're now incorporating into the new projects?
Oh, I got some good ones.
Question.
Well, I think Tim and I would probably agree. It's like, don't go into a film with absolutely no financing at all, unless you really are ready to do it for 6 years, or who knows, maybe even longer, because it's going to take I mean, if you don't have money, it takes time. And so I feel like,
and it still takes money, but the time has been earning you the ability to get that money yourself, potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
fortunately, we were both in a position where we both owned other companies, and we're in a position to even get to an ending place. But if we didn't have that, it wouldn't be done now. I mean, there are bills that, you know, had to have been paid, that we would have just, if we wouldn't have paid them, we wouldn't have finished. And there are still more of those, actually.
So make sure y'all go download, go stream, go make sure you go to your friend's house and have their Amazon Alexas and Siris on their Apple TVs download the project and check it out.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the definition of an indie film for sure. I mean, it's been a small group of very dedicated people who love this place, and you know, it's been an awesome experience just getting to meet. It's just cool too. Like, I think one of my favorite parts about having it out in the world is I was just checking out our trailer on YouTube, and just seeing people like commenting on the film that they've, you know, with their impressions of it, and on Amazon, and it's just really special to finally have people be able to watch it. You know, it's been a thing that we've spent so long working on and trying to get out. Like, I'm super excited to just be in a place where people can finally download it. Yeah, it's pretty rad.
That's pretty cool. All right, so we got a question here from the chat. So I think this is more, what is your dream artist, I guess, to perform there? Or maybe what was your dream artist that you maybe would want to see that you haven't seen, or interview? Maybe that's the question.
Yeah, or both. Yeah. I'll start. I think I've been hugely into Nathaniel Rateliff lately, and I've been listening to him just all the time, and I would love nothing more than that. I haven't been as excited to go up to the Gorge after having kind of been like sucked into working there, and every trip has been so work focused, and it's been a lot of work. So even in some of these other concerts that we probably could have gone to, Nathaniel Rateliff would draw me out there. I'd fly out for that for sure.
Very
No
cool.
question about it. Would love to interview that guy. What about you, Nic?
I mean, speaking of the keys, I am a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, Paul.
Oh.
I've been a huge
He really
Jimmy Buffett
is.
fan since I was a little kid. Actually, my mom was a fan, and actually booked him in the 70s in Montana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a whole nother story. But yeah, I'm like been a Jimmy Buffett fan for many years, and have been to some of his shows, but have never got to meet him or interview him. So
All right, well,
that'd be a blast.
Nick, I've already offered you once before about the fish tacos. Okay, so you just let me know. I'm just saying. You know, you got fish,
some rum.
You got rum. You got fish tacos. Jimmy Buffett does live here in Palm Beach County. You know, so just saying.
I'm down. Let's do it.
So I know,
Sounds
like I
like
said,
a good time.
my wife's watching, so she's the fish taco mango salsa fish tacos there. So
That sounds so good right now.
That sounds pretty good.
well, you know where my address is, so I think I put it on the return packaging label. So all right, so I think I got one last question here, and this one seemed to be a repeating question. Brad actually kept asking it over and over on when we talked to you guys back in June. The Gorge 2, right?
Yeah, the Gorge 2 can come after enough people download, rent, and buy the Gorge 1.
Excellent.
How's that?
Excellent. That's perfect. So those who have been watching here in the chat, I put a poll up there and said, have you seen the film? And 67% has said yes, and I guess the other 33% has said no. So we've got some work to do for those who haven't seen it. So definitely
Let's go 33%.
Come on. Let's bring this up to 100% there. And again, just like a lot of the folks here that I have on the podcast, those that you're in the chat listening, again, Tim and Nic are independent filmmakers, just like craft, rums makers. These are independent. These are not the big boys and the big groups and so forth. So come support your independence, because making great stuff and got to get the word out there and cut through all the other bullshit that's and all the other big sparkly marketing stuff that's out there, and kind of make sure, and things like this kind of help make more people aware. You keep talking about it, spread the word, spread the love, and get it on out there. So
yeah, we were competing. The film in theaters was competing against like the Fast and the Furious franchise, like Boss Baby with a new Marvel movie. It was just a ridiculous
Space Jam,
like enormous the Space Jam, and it's enormous the Gorge Story, baby. So it was cool. I mean, it's awesome to be playing in theaters with those huge franchises. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely the underdog for sure.
Well, it's definitely, like you said, it's definitely cool to see the name up there on the marquee, right? And and definitely see it. So yeah, so definitely check it out. Now that streaming is such a huge thing now that nobody has to leave home, and we've all turned into people like in the movie WALL-E on the spaceship. So, all right. So that's all. I think that's all the questions I've got there in the chat. And again, I know you got to run, Nic. Any last things you guys want to kind of get out there? I know, I'm not sure if there is, but here it is, right?
What do you think, Tim?
I think if we could just, I speak for myself at least, if I could just come back on the show, in another month or two, just for fun, we could talk about something else. I really enjoy it. Out of all the things, all the interviews are so serious and people fast, and it's just cool to hang out and talk. It reminds me of like the beginning of COVID when lockdown first happened, and like had some of those initial like great hangs on Zoom and stuff. Not that I missed that reason for it, but it's cool to get on and talk to you guys, and it just is such an enjoyable thing to do. So I'm grateful for you guys doing this, and that's all. That's my only ask.
All right.
That's so good. Yeah, I mean, we had a blast last time, Paul, and this time as well. It's just you guys have a great crew, and super fun too. Brad's awesome. You're awesome. So yeah, thank you guys for having us back.
Yeah, no, it definitely appreciate it. We will take you up on that to do, and that's kind of how both of our shows are. It's all right. We got some questions to kind of have a conversation through, and I tell people about my podcast it's just the concept is we're sitting at a bar, and we both have a similar interest in something, and all of a sudden that's how the conversation is, over drinks and so forth, and so that's why we try not to be too heavy subject or interrogation. So I said there's always an open invitation. So I'm going to say Florida, there you go. I know it's going to start getting cool. Well, you guys are in California, so it's not too bad weather-wise.
Oh, you don't know. It's winter right now. It just started. It was freezing this morning.
Oh no, it was. We're starting to enter our winter version of highs of in the mid 80s, and the humidity starting to go down a little bit, a little breeze, so it's starting to feel like fall for us. You still have to.
All right, call up Captain James. We're coming in.
All right, you got it. All right.
Nic's determination is strong right now. Yeah, let's set that up.
You got it. All right, guys, I appreciate it. And then we're going to go ahead. I'm going to flip over here and play that trailer. And for those that are still in the chat and if you guys got to run, then all good. And I appreciate, again, for you guys coming on and hanging, and we'll keep spreading the word out there about the film. So have a great night, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
You got it.
The story is almost impossible to believe. Gorge. As a venue, there's no place like it in the world.
When people ask me, where's your favorite place to play, this is always #1.
Smokey Robinson, he sensed it.
Ray Charles, he said, this is one of the greatest places I've ever played.
That place changed my life.
How can we get you to drive 140 miles to come to this place?
You're 2.5 hours away from Seattle.
It's not close to anything.
To get big name artists, they just didn't think anybody would go.
I can recall saying to him, who the hell would come here?
I mean, everybody thought I was crazy. We drove through fields and fields and fields, and finally we end up this incredible setting in the middle of nowhere.
They were onto something because people really were like, when's the next show? When's the next show?
Everybody was talking about this place and how much fun it was to go out there for a couple of days.
Music and camping. There needs to be as much emphasis on camping as there is on the music.
Everything changed after that.
Dave Nelson's band, Pearl Jam, Fleetwood Mac, Sting,
Rod Stewart, Steve Miller bands. I just kept selling tickets.
Jimmy Buffett,
Stevie Ray Vaughan, Bob Dylan. It was just a perfect storm.
Hey, how do you like the Gorge now?
I saw here things that I have never seen.
There's no better marriage of an artist and a venue than Dave Matthews Band at the Gorge.
They just blew me away. How can a band be so good live?
Labor Day weekend, like that's an incredible accomplishment.
I had given up on music, and that Stevie Ray Vaughan concert here at the Gorge put me back on the path of music, and that was life-changing.
It's just unparalleled, and that's why I get super, super excited to play here.
Oh man, I just lost it. I totally lost it.
This just ain't no normal gig.
You can't even explain it, you just have to see it.
It's a pretty remarkable place just to be.
It's just magical.
There's something just so enormous about this place.
The story is almost impossible to believe.